Hey guys, welcome to TMI with Teralee. All right, I hope you're excited from some stories I'm gonna have. Obviously TMI with Teralee kind of explains itself, right? Unless you don't know what TMI means. It doesn't mean too much insects or too much intelligence. I wish it meant too much intelligence. Maybe that's a different channel. That's someone else's channel. That's not my channel. TMI with Teralee means I just shared too much information. That's what a lot of people say about me. And I used to think that as a negative thing. I would come home from hanging out with friends or going to social events with my husband and kind of feel like, oh, I just try to be myself, and people ask me a question and I share how I feel, what I'm thinking, and it just is what it is, how I feel. I don't try to sugarcoat things. I'm honest about how imperfect I am, how much I've screwed up in life, how much I continue to screw up, but learn a lot as a wife and a mother and a daughter. My mom lives with me right now, so that's an adventure, but it actually has been really great. And that's what TMI with Teralee is gonna be. It's gonna just be sharing my perspective of life, finally opening up and being okay with being a really open person. Who knew you could feel shamed about being so open? I have felt so much shame about being open. My whole life though, I wasn't open. I was so closed off, very, very shy, scared of everything. I legit slept with my mom till I got married. But that wasn't because I was having nightmares. We were rather poor. We lived in a small house, and I slept with my mom till I got married. Yes, on a bunk bed. It was awesome. And I just think I feel a lot of gratitude for my life and for finally realizing that it's okay to have a conversation and say things that are uncomfortable at times, and to share all the funk that we go through to get where we are. And I have a long ways to go to be completely who I want to be as a person, but I know that I'm on the right path because I can be honest about my growth in life and what I've done right, what I probably shouldn't do again, but yet sometimes I keep doing because I obviously a glutton for punishment. Hope I'm not the only one out here that is. And I just hope you guys come and have fun. I have stories about growing up, everywhere. I didn't grow up everywhere, but we moved a lot when I was a kid, and so I'm gonna share all those fun stories and what it was like to be the youngest of 6 kids. We moved around a lot. My family's very religious, but then, we're religious, but you don't always keep those promises and those commandments that you say when, you get baptized and stuff. So I've got lots of fun, crazy stories about what it's like just to live and grow, and not let every trial that's come into my life tell me that I'm defeated, but that this trial doesn't define me forever, but it will define me as much as I want it to define me. And I've chosen, I feel like, to let my trials help me be a better person and a more loving, understanding, kind, thoughtful person to other people who are going through hard times. And it doesn't mean I agree with everything people say that is their trial in life, that I think it's okay to always act a certain way, because there's a lot of things that I've gone through that I'm like, okay, I get that you were feeling that way, Teralee, but it doesn't mean that's who you have to be. You get to choose. You get to choose who you want to be. Just because you've gone through some damaging experiences doesn't mean you have to stay damaged. And I'm hoping to bring a fun spin on that and funny stories. And I'm just trying to learn how to do this whole videoing, and I've bought way too many little softwares on my computer trying to learn how to edit. And I just finally am like, screw it. Every time I've made so many videos. At this point, I've already made 10, and I haven't uploaded any of them because I'm trying to learn how to edit and I'm trying to figure it out. And I feel like part of that is good, right? I want good content. I want you guys to like what you're watching. But at the same time, I think I kind of did it because I knew that I wasn't going to get it right away. And it gave me another out, another reason, another excuse, another way to say, oh, I'm doing my YouTube channel. I am. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. But it's never happened because it's just a way for me to get away from what I'm scared of. I grew up moving around a lot. We moved around a lot. I lived in Canada till I was 8 years old, and we lived in, let's see, 1, 2, 3 houses there. But when I was 6, our house completely burned down, and there's 6 kids in my family, and only 3 of us were there at the time. And that night, we all really, really, really wanted to sleep in the basement. And our basement wasn't finished. It was all concrete, and we wanted to sleep in that basement, and we really wanted to watch a show. And my mom was like, but your dad always wants you guys to sleep in your bed. He wants you to sleep upstairs in your rooms. He's coming home from a cattle show. You need to sleep in your rooms. And my mom was like, you guys, I really think you should sleep in your rooms. We're like, please, mom, please, mom. This is the one time I would say that our begging as kids was sent by God, and he possessed us and told us to beg our mom and drive her crazy and sleep in that basement, because sleeping in that basement is what saved our lives. So we fell asleep, and by the way, I know this is totally a side note, but we had my uncle's dogs, a boy and a girl dog, and they had 10 puppies, and I, as a kid, was obsessed with animals. We lived on a farm. I had a little sheep lammy at one point, but that's another sad story. But those dogs were down there, and they meant so much to me, and those little puppies. But that was another reason I wanted to sleep in the basement. So we slept in the basement. We fell asleep. My sister Joy, who's 4 years older than me, and my brother Kent, he's 2 years older than me. And I was like 5 or 6, and I just slept in my undies and a sweater. Yep, I was already kind of a little bit trashy, sleeping in my underwear. And so my mom tells the story. This is how my mom tells the story. I mean, I was a little girl, and all I remember is getting woke up and someone saying there's a fire, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on. And I went back to sleep. But we had this like a burning, like a stove, like a fire burning stove in the corner downstairs in our basement. And she felt this prompting that said, hey, you need to wake up, and there's a fire. And she was like, okay, what is wrong? And she looked, and she didn't see anything. And then she got another prompting. It said, Terry, you need to wake up. There's a fire in your house. You need to wake up. She woke up again, and she saw a little bit of fire over by the fire burning stove. She's like, okay, so the fire, it's not that big. I can go upstairs and get water. I can take care of this. So she's starting to go upstairs, but she hadn't opened doors yet. And she knew something was up, and she felt the Spirit say, drop that water and get your kids out of that house right now. So she dropped the bucket. She ran downstairs back again, the few stairs she went up, and said, all right, everyone up. And, I'm like groggy. And I remember my sister Joy saying, Teralee, we got to go. Mom says there's a fire. We have to get out of the house. And I said, okay, yeah, I'm coming. I was a liar. I have struggled. No, mostly I lie when I play games. Sometimes I mostly did it. My grandpa's dead. Well, he's dead, so you're sorry, Grandpa. I mostly cheated on games when we played with him because it made him so mad. I have issues with that, where I love sometimes to just kind of like push the person who's like super uptight, push their buttons. And so, so I've always struggled with lying. I lied that I was getting up, and I fell back asleep on the couch. And my mom says to my sister, okay, Joy, where's Teralee? We're getting out of the house. And as they're opening doors, the smoke just comes in everywhere. And then my mom was like, I don't know where Teralee is. And my sister's like, I got her up to the stairs. And I was super confused, and the smoke came in, and I actually never told this story. Like I'm about to tell it today. I was so scared. I mean, I tell these stories. I've told them, and I kind of talk about them, but I talk about it from my mom's perspective. Her story and the Holy Ghost and how it saved our life. But I haven't often spoke about how I felt super lost and scared, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I often haven't talked about how I feel like the Lord has spared my life many, many times. So my mom comes back in and she's just screaming my name, and I'm just trying to find her. And I'm super scared, and I feel her hands, and she gets me and she brings us out. We have these glass sliding doors, and it's October in Canada. We lived in a place called Levitt, and we look up and our house is completely in flames. And later, I mean, there's a lot of miracles that happened that night. And later, the firemen told us that there was a family that saw these flames and thought someone already called because they were so big, and they hadn't. And no one had called in this fire until after we were out of the home. So if you think someone's called and there's been 10,000 people calling and seen a fire, I promise you that family that's in there would appreciate you calling and being the 10th or 15th or 20th person who has bugged the police or the firemen about it. But the crazy thing that they told my mom, that this is why I said the Holy Spirit must have been telling us, be annoying as heck and make your mom sleep in the basement, is they said, if you guys would have slept upstairs, the smoke would have just risen and you guys would have died in your sleep, and you wouldn't have survived. And I just think sometimes about that in life when you just kind of go like, wow, why did that happen for me? And it doesn't always work that way for people. I've known a lot of people, good people, that their lives have passed and that they weren't given that second chance. And for me, I've been given so many chances. And I think that's why I'm finally starting this YouTube channel. I'm the youngest of 6, so for survival, I've always been more of a comedian. I also have obviously this very emotional, sensitive, deep side to me, but I love to make jokes. I love to find the humor in life because I've had some things in my life that have been hard, but I want to be happy and I want to find joy. So I'm trying to find a way to use that to be the best person I can be. I think about how it could have been very different that day, and I could have been stuck in that fire and I could have died. And then in that same year, my sister and I, we used to go out to the river with our friends, and I got kind of caught in a current, and she came out to kind of try to help me, and she got caught in it, and we almost drowned, and it was so scary. And then as I continue to go in my life, I unfortunately have had a sister that passed away, and it was so sad. And she passed away. She had cancer that spread everywhere. She had esophageal, stomach, colon. It was in her colon. It was really everywhere, and she was very young. She was 33, and I was 24 when she passed away. And I remember thinking, I just didn't know what to think. I just thought, I don't understand why this happened to her, and I just couldn't imagine if it happened to me. And my husband was in medical school at the time, and so I went ahead and he's like, you need to have a colonoscopy because of this. And I'm thinking, I don't know much about medicine. My mom honestly did not like doctors or medical field people at all. We're like super hippy dippy, like rub a stone in your armpit, which works for some people. I promise you, rubbing a stone in my armpit is not magical. It is horrible. It does not help me smell better. So I'm sticking with the deodorant that's killing me, but not killing you, because I smell a lot better with that deodorant. So you can all judge me for that. That's fine. No, I promise you be glad that I'm not using stone deodorant, because my BO it's something else. It's like I've been cutting onions for hours is what it smells like if I do not wear deodorant. So anyways, my family is pretty hippy dippy, and then my mom is super great, but my husband's like, you need a colonoscopy, and I'm like, okay. So I go in and I get this colonoscopy, and I also have like the scope. I think endoscopy. I think that might be right. I've been sleeping with the doctor for a few years now, so maybe some of that's been rubbing off on me. Oh gosh, that came out dirtier than I meant it, but you're welcome. So anyways, they found a precancerous polyp, and a lot of people are like, well, what's the big deal? They took it out, you don't have cancer. And it's just the point that if I wouldn't have listened to that, and if I wouldn't have gone in, I would have been in the same boat as my sister. And then a few years ago, I found out that my cousin, she's 33 or so, 33, almost 34, found out she had stage 4 colon cancer. And just about a week and a half ago, or almost a week ago, she passed away from colon cancer at 37. And last year, they found 3 more precancerous polyps in my colon. And I just keep thinking, why do I keep getting these chances? So I've had a lot of huge blessings in my life that at times I think I see them, I think I recognize them, I think I appreciate them, but this is my chance to share and make a difference, hopefully, in my life by doing something I've always wanted to do, which is to entertain people, make people laugh, and make people also feel something deep. And like, maybe they learned something, like I learned something through the hell I've gone through at times in my life. And I know there's people out there who've gone through way more hell than I have, and to learn from them. And I do love to learn. I struggle reading because I fall asleep every time I start to. And another story is I'm dyslexic, and I've got a whole story on that. And that really has shaped my life maybe in a different way than maybe other people who haven't struggled with learning disabilities their whole life. But I'm just gonna make a fun spin on all the things that have been my struggles, but how I have found comfort in them, laughter in them, hope in them. And I know this is really long, but that's why I have editing, so I can make it whatever I want. All right, guys, I'm glad you let me talk to you for 17 minutes and 18 seconds. Oh, no, 19, 20. Oh, I just can't. This is what my husband thinks of me. He's like, when is it gonna end? When are you gonna stop talking? I seriously cannot take it anymore. But he's been married to me now, almost on Thursday. Actually, tomorrow morning will be our 15th wedding anniversary. Lucky man. And I've been watching The Bachelor, and everyone's like, oh, they barely know each other. My husband and I knew each other for 5 months, and I do think that he's like, oh, I don't know if that was a good idea. But I think for us, for me, it was a good idea, because I think for him, it might have been easy to date me a little longer and run away when times got hard, and having to learn how to figure each other out and work together. But having that commitment of marriage made him have to stick by me, and me him too. I mean, he's no saint. I mean, he's pretty close. He's pretty close, and I love him so much. And he is the light of my life, and so are my 4 wonderful kids who put up with this crazy lady who often can be awesome and fun and nice, but also yell and curse. Not like a ton, guys, by the way. That is something I'm working on. It's mostly curse words I make up, so it's like, friend stuff and like shiver monkeys. I mean, seriously, that's my curse word, is shiver monkeys. And my 4-year-old will fall and say it so hilarious. Oh, shiver monkeys! But she says it like, you're like, oh, she's totally F-bombing, but it's not an F-bomb, it's shiver monkeys. So anyways, all right, love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.